What's up, guys? Welcome to another edition of Bow Tie Review. And today the review is all about the Raspberry Pi. Here's a promo video to tell you more.
This is a Raspberry Pi. It's a credit card-sized computer that costs around £25, designed to teach young people to program, and is capable of doing all kinds of wonderful things. Back in the 80s, kids had to learn how to code computers to use them, and as a result, these kids grew up with an inbuilt understanding of how computers work. Now, we need more programmers than ever before. So to deal with this problem, some clever people came up with the Raspberry Pi to reignite the spark. It runs Linux, a free operating system from an SD card, just like the one in your digital camera, and it's powered by a USB phone charger. You just plug in a mouse and a keyboard, connect it to a TV or monitor, and you're ready to go. In schools, not only is Raspberry Pi a great way to learn programming skills as part of ICT, there are also dozens of cross-curricular applications, like science, and music. And all over the world, people are experimenting with Raspberry Pis and attending Raspberry Jam events, where people of all ages are learning what can be done with a Raspberry Pi. Since the first Raspberry Pi was shipped, we've seen examples of people using the Pi in a variety of amazing and interesting projects, taking advantage of its size, portability, cost, programmability, and connectability. So whether you want to learn to make games, build robots, or even teach a bear to parachute, with Raspberry Pi, the sky's the limit.
So what is Raspberry Pi? It's a $35 computer that runs a operating system off a micro SD card that you can start with their Raspbian operating system, but you can actually change that one. And on this computer, it's going to give you a lot of different stuff. It's going to give you things like coding, where you can code in both Scratch and Python, and it's also going to give kids the ability to build worlds in Minecraft. And so really the best parts of Raspberry Pi, though, come with the customization of it. You can change the operating system on it. It does not have to be Raspbian. I can change it to something like RetroPie, where I can make my Raspberry Pi a retro gaming console. It has loads of add-ons where I can go and I can add on a camera. I can go and add on a breadboard with lights and sensors. I can add hats like a Sense hat to give it all kinds of different capabilities. And then on top of that, I can run it headless. So I don't have to have a monitor for it to run its programs. I just write the code that says it starts on boot, and that code starts on boot. So things like an outdoor camera that's capturing animals, I can do with a Raspberry Pi. And really, it can be the brains for anything. I think where we're going to use it, and I'm going to use it, is as we do maker projects and we need kind of an electronic brain and electronic starting place. That's where Raspberry Pi is going to come into play. So really my overall take here is Raspberry Pi is good for schools at most any level. It does get a little more complicated in the coding aspect with Scratch and Python. So for like super young kids, it can be a little hard, but I do know a kindergarten teacher in California who's actually doing it by just telling the kids what commands they're actually going to use in Scratch. So it does work at that level. But I think what it needs to be in education is kind of the brains for anything that you want to build. If I take a laser cutter and a 3D printer and I want to put electronics on it, start with Raspberry Pi, because Raspberry Pi can do a lot of that. You can put lights in, you can put sensors in, you can put things like wheels and servos in using something like an Explorer hat. I mean, there's a lot you can do here. I think from a teaching standpoint, you just need to come up with some really good projects to go with it. And there's lots of help on the Raspberry Pi Foundation's website and things that you could start with Raspberry Pi.